Going for boost. Well, I think going for boost, if you're a boost merchant, like someone like AJ or someone, you go for boost.
100% of the time.
Yes.
Always, every second of every game. Ball's going in your net, don't worry about it. Go get the boost and make sure you've got the full 100 to celebrate with the other team.
Oh God. Never. Yeah, never. Always go for ball.
Yeah.
Number one rule of Rocket League.
Welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, where three aggressively average Rocket League players talk about everything RLCS with your hosts, Ace, Code Red Jack, Kyle Cube, and AJ Binky. So, if you've ever wondered when the best time to go for Boost Over Ball is, you've come to the right place.
Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome. If this is not your first show, welcome back. If this is your first show, thank you so much for showing up. It really means a lot to us. I'm here today by myself. I'm Kyle K Cube. Today I will be talking about our run, the Boost Over Ball run in Bandits on Wheels, the Bandits on Wheels tournament, a couple of roster moves, a very, very brief insight into at least some of my thoughts on removing player trading, and kind of our upcoming schedule and the episodes coming up in the future, which should be pretty good. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into our run with Bandits on Wheels. We tweeted about it. I'm not sure if everyone saw, but me, Sasuke, and RLCS team Hey Bros manager Valkyrie RL teamed up to compete in the Bandits on Wheels tournament. It was a tournament put on by Bandits, and one of our fellow members of the podcast, Atomic, is one of the tournament organizers and people helping out with that. So we thought it would be a good opportunity to play some good teams and make some content. So that's what we did. Our main goal being to make it out of round one, and we were beaten pretty handily in game one in the upper bracket. We dropped down to lowers. We got a forfeit win and moved on to lowers round two, where we also lost. So we technically played in 3 series. We only played matches in 2 of them, so we didn't get round one exited. So, some wins there. We had some good times. It was a lot of fun, but the level of competition is very high. As I'll talk about here. Now we'll move on to the tournament as a whole. A massive shout out and congratulations to tournament winners, Hey Bro, with the roster of Creams, Hockey, and Wavy, who you guys may know the latter of those three as someone that has competed in the Chalked Cast 1v1 that Johnny has been hosting. So they beat some very notable competition, making it through their group on top with a perfect 3-0, with what many would consider to be an upset over a team called Burgers, which is Atomic, Daniel, and Mist. So, kind of 2 of the new 3 G2 boys with Mist. You have other, bubble teams we've talked about before, like Boulevard with Alraz, Delta, and Repeat, Sup, Money Expert, and Drew. Nolly's Minions with Frosty, Cosmic from the Chalked Cast 1v1 tournament, and Nolly. And, many other teams with players like Lights Out, Reddles, Magic Bear, Calm, Old Heads with Adam, J-Pow, Heck. So a lot of notable teams on here. So Hey Bro completes their run by sweeping Boulevard in the upper bracket semifinals after qualifying top of Group B. And then we have Hey Bro also taking down Nolly's Minions 3-1 in the upper bracket final to move on to the grand final, where they face Burgers again and take them down in Game 7. It was a fantastic showing from Hey Bro. Wavy looked amazing in that roster, and so we will have to wait and see if that is going to be the Hey Bro roster that will be competing in RLCS whenever it is that gets announced. But There are more Bandits on Wheels tournaments that will be coming up, and I think we will also try to compete in those as well, as it's good for content. It's a lot of fun, even if we're not as competitive as we potentially could be, but it's a lot of fun, and we will again stream our adventures in that tournament. But now turning our eyes over to some roster moves, we have Elevate dropping Realize. He was the only remaining player on that roster in APAC, and Gaming Gladiators then turning around and signing Virtuoso and Realize to their roster to compete with Maxiu, and playing under Coach Marky Duda. So that certainly seems to be the roster to beat, as we have Maxiu and Virtuoso, two Irish players to compete along Realize, Japanese player. Next we have Dignitas, which are set to pick up Chicago and Mist to play alongside Evo. A lot of Dignitas fans are hoping that this can maybe be the revitalization of the roster that we haven't seen since they were winning world championships. Next we have M80 looking to sign AJ and Jorias in NA, which would be another region transfer. Jorias would follow his former teammate, apparently Jack, across the pond, so to speak, back over here to the US and compete alongside AJ. And though that team will potentially is going to be looking for a third, but that's some big news with a region transfer. Another one, pretty notably. I will be very intrigued to see how he performs. We saw how well it worked for Nolly and Appjack, so we'll have to wait and see. Next, we have Fairy Peak, set to become the next Vitality coach after Farah stepped away to coach Carmine Corp. We were under the impression originally that it was just kind of going to be a coaching swap with Mew headed in the opposite direction. But that is not the case. It is going to be Fairy Peak that will be taking up the mantle and trying to help Vitality repeat as world champions. And then last but certainly not least, we have First Killer set to join Gen G to team with Chronic and Appjack. That is going to be a scary roster. I kind of thought that Nolly was a very good fit for that roster, although we did see we've talked about it, on the show before. Nolly had some very high highs and some very low lows. So I think First Killer will kind of help, maybe make that more of a plateau, and will really potentially help unlock Chronic, similar to how Zen was able to help Alpha kind of return to his peak in the World Championship. So, we'll see if that comes to fruition, but I think that'll be a very formidable team in NA. Next, I think we need to talk about a little bit, at least, the elephant in the room. Psyonix, on not even the main account, announced that as of December 3rd, 2023, they will be removing player trading from the game. So I'm not even sure where to start on this one. Trading has been a pillar of the community since the game was created. I remember I started out on Xbox. Heatwave was the currency because you couldn't trade keys. I remember trading around for my first black markets. I remember, transferring those items to PC when I switched, and, continuing to do some trading. By no means was I a, pro trader or a great trader, but, it's certainly something that I enjoyed doing. If I had extra items, trading them with my friends, things like that. But, you're kind of taking away a big piece of the puzzle that is, Rocket League and some of its appeal to people. I know sites like RL Garage, things like that. Even content creators who trade for, pumpkins and, mystery boxes, like the new form of crates, are going to be hurt. John Sandman, one of the biggest Rocket League content creators, can't do crate wars. You have Tryhouse, people like that, that can't open all these drops that they're, that they could if, they were allowed to trade for them. I mean, I just, the only thing that I can really say or think of as to point to for a reason is a cash grab, right? So, you don't want third-party websites taking any money, paying for items in Rocket League. And I really think that they've made a big mistake. There's a change.org petition going around that has quite a few signatures already about, trying to keep trading in Rocket League. I've seen some interesting theories or takes on how to keep trading, but achieve the overall goal of what Epic is trying to accomplish. And the take that I saw was making it so that credits are not tradable anymore, so that if you were going to trade items, it was going to have to be for other items. I think that kind of artificially inflates prices, because you can't just pay credits for them. So I think that if people want new and exciting items, that you have to go and get them from the item shop or from Blueprints. So I think that, keeps the money flowing in there. But, it's really, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, there's a finite number of items that are still not tradable in Rocket League. All of the new items that you get are untradeable. There's a finite number of people in the game that will even have tradable items, and as people phase out of Rocket League, as people put the game down, as people lose account passwords or things like that, those items that are tradable will eventually die. So I mean, in my opinion, I think that you could have just removed the tradability of items from now moving forward, and eventually trading would stop, but you would still garner all the money from the new players that are coming into Rocket League, and allow people that have built themselves a pillar of the Rocket League community to still have their area to perform. And then on top of all of the trading, with all of the backlash that they've gotten and no transparency on RLCS or anything of that nature, the very next tweet after the outrage about trading is for the NFL Fan Pack. Right, go buy the NFL Fan Pack. Go support your favorite NFL team. We got Gridiron back in Rocket League. I think that's a little bit insensitive. I think that it's a little bit callous. I don't know that that's necessarily the right move for anybody, and that's certainly not what the players or creators or fans of the game wanted to see. So I think that they really have messed up a little bit. But this is just my opinion. We will be talking about this more in depth as the week goes on. I will jump over now to our upcoming schedule. We're going to have an interview this week with Tryhouse, but something came up and he had to back out, and so I think we're pushing that to next week. We're going to be having a crossover episode with the Wave Dash podcast, talking about potentially a Rocket League map tier list. There's a lot of exciting content coming your way. It just didn't pan out, or didn't shake out for release this week, but I didn't want to go 2 weeks without, giving you guys some content. So, unfortunately you have to listen to me talk for, 10 minutes. It's going to be a little bit shorter of an episode. Again, I'm sorry about that. We're in the thralls of off season, so we'll be back at you guys next week with an episode, hopefully with Tryhouse, but at the very least, we're going to be talking about the removing player trading more in depth, and any roster moves or tournaments that may happen in the meantime. But with that, I would like to thank you guys so much for listening. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, rate us wherever you listen to podcasts, as it really helps us out. Rate 5 stars. It helps us grow as we continue to try and bring you guys the best and most exciting content that we can. Remember to check out our Twitch, our TikTok. We still have a merch store inbound soon. I've been, working on the back end with that, trying to get some cool designs in there for you guys. So I will certainly tweet about it, and we'll talk about it on the episode when that goes live. But all of our links and more can be found on our website at www.boostoverball.com. And from me, as well as everyone else who is on the show and not here at the moment, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website, www.boostoverball.com, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts.